He came to be called Maui Tiki Tiki Aturanga because it was his mother's tiki tiki or tapna that he was wrapped in and thrown out to sea.
Oh, my son, my fifth and beautiful son, that you should die breaks my heart so.
His mother Turanga thought he would die and was unhappy. He was born too soon and she thought him too small to live. He was her fifth son and she could not bear it to bury him in the earth. So she gave the infant to the sea. Tamanui Kete Rangi.
Maui should have been buried in a special ceremony so that his spirit would not become evil and bent on causing trouble and mischief.
But Maui did not die, and Tama discovered him nestled in a bed of kelp and rescued him. And he was brought up by Tama, which meant that the infant Maui Potiki was to learn a great many things.
As Maui Potiki grew up, he learned many tricks. He learned powerful incantations, and he learned how to take on the shape of birds.
Finally, the time came for Maui to leave the old man Tama, who had been both father and mother to him. So he set off on a journey to find his own people.
After many days of traveling through forests, around lakes, and over mountains, he came to the village where he knew his people lived. He walked into the Waranui where the people had gathered.
Maui saw a beautiful woman talking to her four sons.
Come, my sons, you must get ready for the singing and dancing. Maui Moa, eldest son, stand here. Now Maui Roto, son in the middle, stand here next to him. Maui Taha, son on the side. Here, that's three sons. And finally, Maui Pa'e on the edge is the fourth and last.
But just then, Maui stepped out of the shadows and said,
I am also your son. I am Maui.
Turanga was amazed and a little angry at the intrusion of the handsome young boy. She began to ask the sacred question.
How is it so? Do you come from the north? No, not the north. Do you come from the south? No. Then perhaps you come from the east or the west?
Asked Turanga.
No and no. I come from neither the east nor the west. Do you come from the waves of the sea? Yes. Do you come from the waves of the wind? Yes.
Answered Maui. Then Turanga cried out,
It is true. It is true. This is the son whom I gave birth, but I cast him out into the sea because his time was not right. He lived. He is alive. He is my son. He shall be called Maui Tiki Tiki Aturanga.
In the festivities that followed, Maui performed some of the many tricks he had learned. The people of the village were astounded when the young Maui uttered an incantation to turn himself into the brightly colored Kareru bird.
everyone was delighted with Maui, except for Maui's four brothers who were jealous of the upstart. He had come into their lives and taken the affection of their beloved mother, Turanga.
I do not like this new and youngest brother.
He thinks he's too high of himself and his tricks.
Indeed he does, but I am not impressed by his foolishness. I think he's a troublemaker.
And our mother has taken in by him. We must watch out that he causes us no grief.
I'm the oldest, and in time I'll deal with my little brother Maui Potiki.
This is the tale of how Maui met his father and received his name blessing. Maui grew strong and tall, just like his brothers, but two things made him stand out as different. An ill-formed, flattened head and the red eyes of a fearless lion. As he grew up, he was forever getting into trouble for playing tricks on others or for using magic that caused confusion and admiration in equal doses. Maui was satisfied that he had found his mother, but he also wanted to meet his father, Makea Utara. Each day, Turanga would rise early at dawn and go into the underworld to visit her husband. She would call to each of her sons in turn and beg that they behave of themselves and work hard each day, saying,
My sons, promise that while I am gone, each of you will work hard and take care of your youngest brother, Maui.
Of course, Mother, as I'm the eldest, I'll take care of all my brothers.
We will all work hard today and take care of each other. Take care of yourself, Mother, and return to us safely.
I wish you a good day, Mother.
Then leaving them, Tron would wave goodbye and find her long way to the underworld. While his brothers never asked how their mother made her way to the underworld, each day she would leave them, and then as night fell, she would return to her sons. Maui, the youngest, however, was most curious, and one day decided to turn himself into a pigeon and follow his mother. Maui flitted from tree to tree, following the path his mother took to the underworld, and when she arrived at her destination, he saw her embrace her husband, Tukutar, who Maui knew to be his father. Maui decided then and there that he wanted to be his father, so he waited until his mother made her nightly trip back to the upper land. When she had gone, he said an incantation to turn himself back into his human form. When Maui appeared before Tukutar, his father was most disagreeable and began to question him.
Who are you, and how have you found your way to the underworld?
I am Maui, the fifth son of Turanga. When I was born, she wrapped me in her tiki and cast me out to the sea. Tama of the sea rescued me and raised me.
If you were raised by Tamanui Kete Rami, then you are worthy of your name. It is the name of a fearless warrior, and you will be marked out to perform bold and marvelous feats.
Then Makara prepared the tohi, the name blessing ceremony. He performed it over his son, chanting incantations so that his son would always be protected. When it was done, he sent Maui back to his mother and brothers. But when the ceremony was over, Makara realized that he had left out a part of the tohi.
Because of my mistake in the tohi, the gods will punish me. And one day my son Maui will not be immortal, and one day will have to die.
How Maui pushed up the sky. Long ago when the world was new, the sky was not very high at all. In fact, it was so low that when plants grew, they pushed against the sky so hard it made the leaves flat.
The sky was so low that people had to go about on hands and knees to do the work, and that was very tiring indeed.
One day, as Maui was going about, he saw a girl sitting upon the ground with a calabash gourd filled with water.
Give me a drink from your gourd. I am very thirsty.
And why should I give you a drink? I'm so worried going about on all fours that I must keep the water for myself.
If you give me a drink, I will give you something in return. I will push the heavens higher.
Ha 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 ha!
Laughed the girl, scoffing at Maui and not knowing who he was.
No one is strong enough to push up the sky, but I will share my water with you for making me laugh.
After Maui had drank his fill, he lunged his shoulders and pushed against the sky. His strongness began to rise higher and higher until he was standing. Then he took his arms and pushed the sky even higher. At last, with a great jump into the air, he pushed the sky to peace where it is now.
All the people stood tall and stretched and cheered Maui for his great feat. And ever after, when a stranger asks for water, all people give it willingly.
How Maui got his enchanted weapon. Maui wanted a magic weapon that he could use to perform great deeds that no one else could do.
One day while he was staying with his mother, he noticed people carrying baskets for an old person. Who is that food for?
It is for your ancestors, Muri Rongi Waniwa.
From that time on, Maui commanded that the food be brought to him so that he could take it to the old woman.
But he never gave the food to the blind old woman. Instead, each day he would throw it away in the bushes.
Each day, the old woman would wait at her house for the food, but it never came. At last, the old chieftainess determined to find out who was trying to starve her to death. By now, her stomach was very empty, and she is waiting to pounce on and eat the cruel person denying her food.
I know by the smell in the breeze that someone is close to me.
You may smell me, but you cannot see me.
I know by the smell that you are one of my descendants. Are you Maui?
Yes, ancestress, I am Maui.
Why have you cheated me out of food so that I have nothing to eat for many days?
Then Maui stood close to Muri Rangiwanua and said,
I am anxious to have your jawbone. It has magical properties, and I want it for an enchanted weapon.
Then take it!
Cried Muri Rangiwanua in anger. Then Maui grasped the jawbone from the toothless old woman and wrenched it from her body. Thank you for this gift, ancient mother,
said Maui as the old woman died in his arms.
Maui took the jawbone to the nearby stream to wash up the bits of flesh and blood. There the blood flowed in the kokopoo fish, coloring it forever red.
Now Maui had a glistening white enchanted weapon that proved to be his savior on many occasions.
This is the tale of how Maui tamed the sun. Long ago, when the world was new, the sun rushed across the sky. Maui had been becoming fed up with the shortness of the day. No sooner had people begun to tend their gardens or gone to work or gone hunting or fishing, then the sun would set and all would be darkness again. Maui called his brothers and proposed,
Brothers! Let us catch Terra of the sun with the news and make him move more slowly across the sky.
This can never be done. Terra will burn up everything he touches.
I see trouble coming.
Is this another foolish trick?
Have I not been able to change myself into all those birds of the forest by using enchantments? Now I have the jawbone of my ancestors and my powers are even greater.
well, yes, you can change yourself into a bird.
And you say enchantments well.
And we have also been in much trouble from your mischief.
Tell the truth. Is this another trick?
I swear, brothers, that this is no trick, and I am sick of the shortness of day.
Soon the brothers were persuaded, and Maui set them about collecting flax made to a maka, the strong square-shaped rope, and pahara, flat-shaped rope. The fibers of the flax were also twisted into maka, the strong round rope. When all was ready, the brothers journeyed for many days towards the east to the edge of the world where the sun rises. Then the brothers built strong walls to hide behind it and set their nooses to catch the sun as he appeared into the world of light.
Brothers, keeping it until the hand and the shoulders of the sun are in the news. And do not let go until I tell you, because I will knock him on the head until he is nearly dead. And don't feel sorry for him when he screams, or all will be lost.
The brothers waited in the darkness until the day dawned with the rising of the unsuspecting sun. His fire spread over the land, the mountains, and the glittering sea. As the sun rose, Maui took the rope in his hand, swung it high over his head, and captured the sun. Soon the head and shoulders of the sun were in the news. The brothers pulled hard on the ropes. They could feel the intense heat of the sun on their arms and shoulders as the sensei bra struggled and thrashed about. Now Maui rushed out with his enchanted weapon and thrashed him about the head, wounding him badly. Let me go! Let me go! Have mercy on me!
Only when you promise to cross the sky more slowly will I let you go.
No! Never! The sun screamed out and struggled, groaning and shrieking for mercy. Ah! But Maui only beat him the harder until the sun was completely exhausted and in terrible pain.
I yield! I swear I will pass across the sky more slowly from now onward.
And only then did Maui tell his brothers.
Brothers, let go of the rope!
And from that day to this, the sun has kept his promise and moves slowly across the sky. So now the days are longer and the people can go about the task they must perform before the sun dips slowly in the west.
This is the tale of how Maui fishes up Aotearoa. Sometime later, when Maui was married and had his own family, he would sit idly all day with his wives and children rather than going out fishing. The days were long, and though they were well fed, they grew tired watching Maui's brother come home with fish while they were without.
I want fish to eat.
Fish would be very tasty. I would love to eat some good cooked fish.
I will cook a fish for my children to eat. Why are you so lazy that you do not fish?
You need not fear! I have accomplished all things! This is a trifling thing going to get fixed for you. I will get a fish so large that when I bring it to land, you will not be able to eat it all. Indeed, it will grow putrid in the sun before it is all eaten.
Then, Maui made an enchanted fish hook using a sharp piece of Java he took from his ancestors Muri-Rongi Wagyu. When he had finished, he twisted a stout fishing line onto his hook.
Meanwhile, his brothers were preparing to launch the canoe in preparation for their fishing trip. He jumped into the canoe, but his brothers shouted, "Get out! Get out!
We don't want you with us.
We are sick of your magical tricks.
You will just get us into trouble.
So Maui was made to stay on the shore while his brothers paddled off to sea to the place where the fishing was good. They were pleased with their catch and made their way home, determined to return to the same spot the next day.
That night, Maui slipped down to the shore and got into his brother's boat, hid under the boat's floorboards, and waited until morning.
The next morning, the brothers launched their canoe as usual and paddled out to sea with Maui still hidden under the floorboards. When they were well out to sea, Maui showed himself.
The brothers were angry and thought to paddle back to shore.
You trickster! What are you doing in our canoe?
You will just cause trouble wherever you go.
Indeed, we have told you we do not want you to come along on our fishing trips. We should throw you overboard.
The brothers turned their maka around and headed straight for land.
But Maui used special enchantments and made the land seem a long distance away. They paddled even faster. When they
cannot see a land to return home.
The brothers reluctantly agreed and paddled on to their usual fishing ground. Just as they were about to drop anchor and start fishing, Maui said,
Oh no, let's go further out to see where the fish are really plentiful. All you have to do is drop your lines and the fish will follow from the depths to the top of the water.
So the brothers kept paddling. Each time they tried to stop, Maui urged them to keep going. At last, they reached the open sea where they began to fish. Sure enough, no sooner had they let down their lines than their boat was filled with fish. Soon they said,
Let us return now, brothers.
Oh no, wait a little longer. Now it's my turn to throw my hook into the sea.
But how will you fish? You have no hook or line.
Then Maui surprised them by pulling his magnificent hook from beneath his wrap. Light flashed from the beautiful hook, which was decorated with mother of pearl, and tufts of hair from a dog's tail. At its point was a shard of the jawbone of their ancestors Maui, Rangi, Wanua.
Brothers, give me some bait for my hook. No, we'll not give you any of our bait.
If you want to fish, you must plan ahead and bring your own bait.
What have you ever shared with me?
Hearing this, Maui doubled his fist and struck his own nose violently so that the blood gushed out. Then he took up his enchanted fish hook and smeared it with his own blood and cast it into the sea. The hook sank down and down until it reached a carved house resting at the bottom of the sea, the home of Tanganu. But it did not catch there, it sank down further until it caught on the sill of the doorway. Then, feeling something was caught on his hook, Maui began pulling in his line. Maui strained and pulled on his line with all his might until there appeared on the surface of the ocean the house of Tanganu. Up it came with the gushing of water and sea foam. It looked like an island was coming up out of the water. Meanwhile, Maui was repeating an incantation or hiki to make heavy things light. He kept doing this in order that his giant fish might come up more easily. In his hiki, he called out,
Where are you, Tanganu? Why are you holding on so hard down there?
When Maui's incantations were finished uploaded, the fish of Maui, a piece of the earth, Papatuaniku, raised from the ocean depths. The brothers were horrified.
We're stranded.
Our canoe is aground on the back of Maui's giant fish.
Look how he's brought us into the open sea so far from land.
I'm returning to the village to make an offering to the gods from this great haul of fish we have caught. Brothers, be courageous and be patient, and do not eat food until I return, and do not cut up our fish. Leave it until I have found a priest. A priest must make prayers, offerings, and sacrifices to carry out the necessary rites to purify us. When I return, we will cut up the fish and divide it among us so we can all return home joyfully.
But no sooner had Maui left than his brothers forgot the words they heard him speak. They began to eat food and cut up the fish. Because of this, the gods turned their anger on the brothers and caused the giant fish to thrash them. He tossed from side to side and lashed at his tail. Mountains and valleys formed from the tossing of the giant fish. If the brothers had not acted so willfully, that huge island would have lain smooth and flat instead of mountains and valleys. This story is told as the second great evil that took place after the separation of Rangi the sky from Papatuanuku, the earth. This was the land hidden by Rangi the sky and his son Kauhiki Matea. Today, the island is known as Aotearoa.
How Maui stole fire.
Fire was very precious to the world of men, but the time came when there was no longer any fire to be found in the world of light.
Mahuika, the mother fire, lived in the lower world. In her fingers lived her children, were the first rays of light that shot over the sky in the morning.
Maui decided to make the perilous journey into the underworld to ask Mahuika for one of her 10 fingers so that he could take fire back to the world.
He wandered Grounded in a dark cave by her children, she is shone forth out of the darkness.
Oh, old woman, will you give me some of your fire?
Away! Who is this in the light of my children?
It is your grandson, Maui.
Mahuika asked Maui the four sacred questions. Do you come from the north?
No.
Do you come from the south then?
No.
Do you come from the east or the west?
No and no.
Do you come on the waves of the wind?
Yes, I come on the waves of the wind.
Do you come on the waves of the sea?
Yes, I come on the waves of the sea.
Then Mahuika knew that this was indeed her grandchild standing before her. At last he decided,
Yes, I will give you what you asked for. And she took one of her fingers and gave it to Maui. Taking the finger of fire, Maui began his return journey. But when he had traveled part way, his old greed overcame him. He wanted to take all the fire of Mahuika.
Maui killed the finger Mahuika had given him in the great water and went back to his ancestors.
Ancestress, I have lost the finger of fire.
That is very careless of you. But as you are my grandson, I will give you another. And so, Mahuika gave him another.
He killed the second finger too and came back to ask for another.
Mahuika came back again and again, each time making excuses and begging for another finger. And each time Mahuika gave him another, until she only had one left. Finally, Mahuika knew she was to die and filled the earth with terrible cries. A frightening look of anger took hold of her.
She took her last child, the last finger, and threw it upon the world, and the world filled with fire.
And then Maui began to run.
The flames grew larger and larger and swallowed him as he ran. He ran into the forest, and the forest caught fire.
He ran to the river, but the river began to boil.
Maui took on the form of an eagle and sang incantation for Tahira Matea to bring forth clouds of rain. The rain raged throughout the land, bringing with it endless floods upon the earth.
Mahuika knew she was to die and filled the earth with terrible cries.
Ah!
With great swiftness, she ran and ran to save her child, the flame. But the flood and the rain always followed her.
At last she caught her child, and knowing she must die, hid it in a kaiko mako tree. Then Mahuika, mother fire, perished and died.
And still to this day, the Keiko Moko tree holds the child of fire, so that if the dry wood is rubbed together, the flame that once lived on the fingers of Mahuika bursts forth new life again.
Ha ha ha.